Hi, Sugar Gliders. I'd like you to have a plain sheet of paper in front of you so you can take notes as I'm writing. And don't forget you can always stop the video if I'm going too fast if you need to look back. I'm going to review what we did in class today with place value. So you can title your notes place value. And we're going to start with a number and talk about the value of each of its digits. So just like in class today, I took the number 3,500 and 3,586. And we said, okay, each digit has a certain value. The 6 is in the ones place, so its value is 6. The 8 is in the tens place. Its value is 80. The 5 is in the hundreds place, so it has a value of 500. And the 3 is in the thousands place. Its value is 3,000. So we know whole numbers. We talked about those being the whole number sides of a number. So if I were to write that in expanded form just means you're taking the number and you're breaking it up into the value of each digit. So expanded form means there's a 3 in the thousandths, so the first digit is worth 3,000. There's a 5 in the hundreds place, so the 5 is worth 500. There's an 8 in the tens place, its value is 80. And there's a 6 in the ones place, its value is 6. So if I added those all back together, I would get 3,586. Our focus today is on the decimal side. Remember, I said we read the decimal point as and. There's no such thing as once, so the next value name is tenths. And it's like a 10, but it has that THS at the end. That's what tells us that its value is really less than 1. So I gave you the example of a 5 in the tenths place. And if I were to put that into my expanded form number, I could see that all of these digits could have a decimal there. We just don't always see it. To add my 5/10, my 5 is on the right side of the decimal point. So remember, the left side was whole numbers, and the right side of the decimal is decimal numbers. They're also fractions. And then we talked about the difference between 0.5. I'm just going to kind of put that out here for you. What's the difference between 0.5 and 0.05? Well, their values are different because here we have a 0 in the tenths. Here we have a 5 in the tenths. So if we were talking about money, we could change this to 50 cents, which is half of a dollar. And if I were to write that as 50 hundredths, it would look like that. 50 hundredths is the same as half. This would actually be a nickel if we were talking about money. This is 5 hundredths, which is a lot less than 50 hundredths. Okay, so I'm going to look up back here at my chart and write the next place value, which is hundredths. Okay, so if I were to put, let's say, a 7 in the hundredth spot, I'm going to get rid of this. This was just, you didn't have to write this down, just to give you an idea of decimals in money. If I were to write my 7 in my expanded form, the 7 is in the hundredths place, so its value is really 7 hundredths. It goes over here. I'm going to go one more place in my decimal place chart, tens, hundredths, thousandths. And if I had a 1 in my thousandths place, in my expanded form, I would have to make sure I put my 1 in the actual thousandth spot here and add those zeros in front of it. So tens, hundredths, thousandths, 1,000th. I put everything back together. If I were to add decimals, remember I said we can have zeros after the decimals, it won't change the value. 3,000 with 3 zeros behind it is still 3,000. 500 with zeros behind it is still 500. The same with 80 and 60. And actually this 0.5, 5/10 I could read as 50 hundredths or 500 thousandths. The value hasn't changed. And I can also add a 0 after my 7. So I'm adding all these extra zeros just so all my digits are lined up. When I add them back, I get the same number. And let's see how I can say this number. I would say 3,586 and 571 thousandths. I'm going to give you a little quiz next, so look on Edmodo, find the quiz, take it, and don't forget to hit submit, and we'll see how you did tomorrow. All right, have a great night, guys.